Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Ties That Bind. I'm William Moore. I'll be your host for the program. And before I get started today with the topic I want to discuss, I want to go back to my last program, which actually should have been my first program, because it lays out some attributes, it lays out what a person needs to possess in order to receive any benefit or value from this program. And it also discusses a couple things that one should not have if they're going to receive any benefit or value from this program. The first being cognitive dissonance, and I want to touch on that real quick because cognitive dissonance is a mental conflict which occurs when beliefs or assumptions are contradicted by new information. Um, you have a lot of people like that. When they're confronted with challenging new information, they seek to preserve their current understanding. Um, they they reject the new information. They explain it away. They avoid the new information, or they convince themselves that no conflict exists between their current worldview or understanding and the new information they've been presented with. So cognitive dissonance and this program will not work because I attack some of the main pillars within politics, government, and religion, things that people have been brainwashed to believe, such as that the founding fathers of this nation believed in freedom. They did not believe in freedom, they believed in license. They believed in giving people permission to do things, but they did not believe in absolute freedom, or they would not have established a strong central government. So, I do not follow doctrines from the Roman Catholic Church. I do not follow the fairy tales of government, the stories concerning this nation's history, because as Napoleon states, or did state, that history is nothing more than a set of lies which is agreed upon and then used by those in power to perpetuate their power. Um, Anyway, if you suffer from cognitive dissonance, this program is not for you. If you are one who belongs to the cult of personality, no matter if that personality is Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, then this program is not for you because I will criticize these people, these leaders, for what they do, which is contrary to personal freedom. Acts which they commit, which are contrary to allowing a person to act freely within society, as long as that person is not harming another person or destroying another person's property. So, one thing that I do want to do, I want to give an example. My wife, um, when she first met me and I started to reveal to her things that I believed, instead of just cutting me off and saying, okay, this guy's a little bit too deep for me, um, he's part of the lunatic fringe, which she's probably still out to lunch on that one. But when I started to share with her information, knowledge that I had received through research, instead of just writing it off, she decided that she was going to research herself. So, what I did was I would point her in a direction, point her towards resources, share resources with her where she could find out the truth, where she could research and receive knowledge concerning the truth. And by doing this, when she would find new information that would contradict what she had originally believed, she did not write this off. She did not try and reason it away. She didn't reject it. She would start to conform with that which was true and uh, had the knowledge and the documentation to back it. So, and I've met lots of people like that throughout my walk in this life who will accept. They will not immediately reject. They will do research. They will ask the proper questions. They will reason. They will stay upon a platform of logic, and they will find the answer and then stand on it. There's a lot of people out there that write things off. They'll reject it. They'll say, "Ah, I'm not going to believe that," or "I'll never believe that. I don't want to believe that." And so they'll never find the truth. And that's what this program is all about. It's a search for truth. And I am a nonconformist in that I do not go along with society. I do not accept, I've rejected most things that I learned in the public school system just because it was not true. I have rejected most things that I've learned within Christianity because it's just not true. It's not there. Christianity, for one, just example, does not agree with most of what is contained within Scripture. They state that they base their belief system upon Scripture. However, when Scripture contradicts their tradition or contradicts a way they behave, they reject Scripture and stand upon the tradition which was handed down by the Christian Church starting back in 325 AD with Constantine and the Roman Catholic Church at the Council of Nicaea. Or you can actually go back to 200 CE with Marcion. So anyway, I'm a nonconformist, which brings up the question then, if I agree with other nonconformists, does that make me a conformist? Nah. Anyway, today we're going to talk about consent and the definition of the word consent. And I do this quite a bit. I will provide you with the definition of the word. Consent, noun, permission for something to happen or agreement to do something. Synonyms, agreement, concurrence, accord, permission, authorization, sanction, leave, clearance, acceptance, approval, thumbs up, green light. The verb, to give permission for something to happen, and the synonyms for the verb are allow, sanction, accept, approve, go along with. And since I'll be reading off the computer here, I'm going to put on my glasses. So consent, meaning that you're going to go along with something, that you agree for something to happen. It's part of the volunteerist philosophy. I consider myself a volunteerist, anarchist to a point. And anarchy does not mean no rules. It means no rulers. It is opposite of monarchy or even theocracy. So anyway, I do not believe that we need rulers. I do not believe we need governors. I believe people need to govern themselves and act, in a responsible manner, practice personal responsibility. So anyway, consent, when you give your permission for something to happen. Now, most of us enter the workforce at 16, 17, 18 years of age. And when we get that first check and say we're making, let's just pick a number, $10 an hour, we get that first check and we've worked 20 hours. So what we've done is we've traded our time, 20 hours of our time, for income, for money, not profit, because no profit's been made. You've done an even exchange. So you haven't profited. So it's really not even income. So it's an even exchange of goods and services and money. So you work 20 hours and you think, okay, I've worked 20 hours. I'm getting $10 an hour. That equals $200. But you get your check and it says anywhere from $150 to $170. So what happened to that other money? What happened to that 30, 40, $50? It was not taken with your consent. No one came to you and said, "Do you agree to pay these taxes?" Now, yes, of course, your employer had you fill out a W-2, um, or I'm sorry, W-4. And then all of a sudden that, people think that becomes consent. Well, actually, you're signing under duress. But what's happened is you have had some of your time, some of your life stole from you. You've had that money stole from you because you weren't making profit. You weren't really participating in anything that gave you an income. You were making an even exchange. You were providing your time and your services in exchange for money. So therefore, it was not income, it was not profit. So something has been stole from you. The government has taken something from you. They've taken it in the form of money, but actually it goes back to your time and it goes back to your skills. It goes back to your very essence, what you can give to someone else in exchange for that money, and the government's taken it from you. So that, by definition, is theft. That taxation, that money that they take out of your check to support schools, roads, all of these things controlled by the government. It would be much better if these things were controlled by private corporations or private citizens, but roads, schools, whatnot, controlled by the government. They take this and they spend it in ways that you may or may not agree with. Do you agree with abortion? Well, part of your tax money is being taken away from you to help provide someone else with an abortion. Do you agree with invading and attacking another nation which has not done anything to you? Well, your tax money, for the most part, is going to support the military industrial complex. Guess what? Then your tax money, your time, part of your life, part of your essence, is being used to kill other people to make them conform to the belief system of your government. So anyway, consent is opposite of, it's snowing here, so that's why I was looking out. Consent is the opposite of coercion. And the government uses coercion. And let's look at the definition of the word coercion: the practice of persuading someone to do something by using force or threats. I guarantee, try not paying your taxes. What's going to happen to you? You're going to get a knock at the door. Actually, first you'll get a letter stating, "This is your friendly IRS. Have you forgot to pay your taxes? If so, we're here to help you. You can set up a convenient payment plan, or if you do not agree to do so, then we'll knock on your door and then we will take everything you own." Now, Samuel Adams was not in agreement with that type of government or that type of coercion, which actually led Samuel Adams to be somewhat of a violent man. Good stuff. Anyway, your government practices coercion. Try not paying your property tax. They'll come and they'll seize your vehicles. Try not paying your real estate tax. They'll come and they'll take away your home. You don't own anything here in America. You know, there are many countries on the face of the earth right now that do not practice this type of theft, no, nor coercion. America, that calls itself the land of the free and the home of the brave, which is actually the land of the fee and the home of the slave. America, only in America, can you work all your life and then not be able to afford your taxes and have your home and property taken away from you. Only in America. Well, I'm sure there's some other countries out there, but in America, we're fed this lie that we live in a free society, that we're the freest nation on the face of the earth. And what's funny is 95% of the people here in America have never even visited another country. So for them to believe that or say that is just absolute ludicrous. Um, so the American government practices coercion. The American government will take from you not just money, but they're taking away from you the very essence of your life, that which you can offer to someone else that is yours, that comes from your innermost being, whether it be knowledge, whether it be a skill. And then instead of being able to work on an even exchange for that knowledge, for that skill, and receive what you agree to work for, that $10, $20, 30, 40, $50 an hour. And the American government will come in and take in the form of money part of your life, part of your life's blood, your skills. Samuel Adams is working on me here, so excuse me. Um, Part of your skills, your time, they will take that from you. And it's not by consent. Um, and you're being forced to pay for things that you may not agree with. I do not agree with the public education system. Do not agree with the public education system at all. It's an indoctrination center. It teaches a false history, revisionist history, um, and basically teaches kids it trains them to be able to put round pegs into round holes and square pegs into square holes. It does not teach them how to think critically. It does not teach them um, how to question. It does not want people who know or want to question. It wants conformists. It wants people like George Carlin said, just smart enough to run the machines for the government to keep the government machine going. That's all. I was terrible in public school, and I thank goodness that I was terrible in public school because I didn't go along with the bullshit they were peddling. Churches. That's another thing. People conform to mainly the Roman Catholic Church, Christianity. 95% of Christianity, doesn't matter if it's Baptist, evangelical, Pentecostal, goes along with the Roman Catholic Church, believes most of the doctrines of the Roman Catholic Church. I didn't agree with that. Didn't go along with it. But even going back to your taxes being used, and some churches do benefit from the taxes others pay, and I don't agree with that. While I think that Ken Ham should be able to build his creation museum and be able to build his ark, I do not agree with him using taxpayer dollars to do so, something that I'm investigating to see whether or not he did. But if he did, that's nothing more than theft. And I don't care what the government's taking the money for or what your neighbors are voting for in your neighborhood to increase taxes over. I don't care how good it seems to be, how noble the cause is. People do not have the right to take away money from someone else, no matter what that money is going to be going towards. It doesn't matter if the money is going to build a new school with a wonderful gymnasium and wonderful ball fields. It doesn't matter what the money's going. It doesn't matter if it's going towards road improvements. Turn roads over to private industry, the roads would be 10 times better. It doesn't matter that it's going to build a new senior center or a park. those items can be provided by the public sector, and it would be much more efficient than what the government does. But I do not agree with giving money to the government for the school system, because the school system in America is a failed system anyway. But people don't even have the right to say, okay, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with my money being used for your public school system. And then people can come along and say, okay, we need to have more money for the public school system, so we're going to put it on the ballot. And then you get a group of people together that vote to approve this new tax measure. What about the people who voted against it or did not vote at all? Well, they now are having their money taken from them by coercion to support something they did not agree with. That is immoral. Or we're going to take the money to improve the sheriff's department, the local police department. Like they're not getting enough money already going around issuing traffic citations. All traffic citations are is revenue generation. As long as you are driving down the road responsibly, it doesn't matter if you're driving 10, 30, 40 miles over the speed limit. As long as you're driving within the condition of the roadway and driving responsible and do not hurt anyone or cause harm to anyone's body or property, you have not broken any laws. You have not committed a crime. You may have broken some man's law to where he scribbles on a piece of paper, and all of a sudden now you have to pay money because you've done something which is contrary to the idiot who scribbled, on the piece of paper that, you have to, stop before making a right-hand turn, or you have to travel 55 miles per hour on this road when it's, can handle going 80 miles per hour. The road can handle you doing 80 miles per hour. But anyway, so our government operates under coercion, not consent. And everything that we do in life, if you are not if you do not give your consent, then you are being abused. You are being taken advantage of. And this needs to stop. I mean, a lot of people say, well, what's the solution? Well, the solution is no government. That's it. That's the only solution that we need. No government. I'm going to go back to what Larkin Rose said. Everybody always, when I talk to them, they say, well, what's the solution? Well, the solution is no government, okay? And we can go back to Antwerp in Flanders back in the 1600s to see that a society without government works and it prospers. It was one of the most prosperous societies, and look it up, one of the most prosperous societies in the Western Hemisphere, and it worked without being under the thumb of any government. Of course, then the British government saw how well things were going in Antwerp and decided that they wanted a cut of the action. Not did they didn't just want a little cut. They wanted all of the action. And that's the type of greed that is evil. Um, but anyway, Antwerp functioned for almost 100 years without any government oversight whatsoever. And it was a prosperous nation or a prosperous area. It wasn't really a nation. So it can work. A society based upon consent, a society without coercion can work. Northern Italy, you go back to the 1600s again. Another wonderful example of a society that can work without being under the some type of tyrannical ruler or despotic government. So, anyway, that's what this show is going to be about. It's going to be about freedom, people having the right to be free and do whatever they want to do as long as they are not harming another person's body or bringing harm to another person's property. No one has a higher claim to your life or property than you. It doesn't matter how noble or good the cause may seem. No one has a higher right to your life or property than you do. And that's what this is all about. Um, and of course, this will bring up, we will be going into the areas of politics, government, and religion. We're going to be discussing freedom. Beyond the ties that bind means that we're going to go beyond the ties that bind us to cultural bias and bind us to tradition. Tradition that is most of the time based upon a lie. We just came out of a season that is based on nothing more than a lie. The Xmas New Year's season. New Year's does not start until the spring. It would make no sense to start the beginning of the year in the dead of winter. I go according to scripture when it comes to things like that. And of course, it doesn't take much research at all to find out that Messiah was not born in December on the 25th of December. That is the birth of many pagan gods. You have to go, and if you look in scripture, it will actually tell you that Messiah was born in the Julian or Gregorian month of September. So, if scripture is true, which it is, and it says that you must worship the Father in spirit and in truth, you can't be worshiping him on a day which is based upon a lie. It doesn't work that way. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you made it this far. This was supposed to be brief, but at least I kept it under 30 minutes. So I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, down below, leave your comments. Also, hit the like button. Share this video with your friends. Remember to subscribe, and I will... that way you'll be alerted to when I drop new videos. So everyone have a wonderful day. And this is William Moore for Beyond the Ties That Bind.